Welcome, everybody, to our part 3 of Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Part 3 of 17. It feels like it'll never end. But
now, Alex, why would you say that about a game that Jake recommended?
I know.
Funny you would say that, actually, because there was a revelation, an eye-opening, an anger-inducing revelation that we experienced this week, and I'll let Preston tell you about it, since this is his game based on Jake's pick.
Sure. That's not entirely true. Jake has caught up to us with as far as our podcast, as far as when they come out, and he's listened to it. Jake did not recommend Lords of Shadow.
Jake, by the way, a friend of the show and 6'1" person, not smaller than anybody on this podcast. I wanted to be very clear.
The tallest person, not the same size. But yeah, so we got a message from him being like, he's like, don't get me wrong. He's like, I love that you guys are playing it because I have played Lords of Shadow before. I think it's very interesting to get your guys' take on it. He's like, but that's not the one I recommended. I'm like, are you sure? I'm looking around. I can't find the comments for it. He's like, yeah, I recommended Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I'm not apologizing to Jake specifically because he says he enjoys the podcast.
Then he brought receipts. Like, he screenshot the
screenshot. And to be fair, in that comment, it did not say specifically, I recommend this for Video Game Book Club. In the same air that he said the Lords of Shadow, to where it's like, I think you guys should play this. Neither of them were very specific on Video Game Book Club. I took Lords of Shadow as a book club suggestion, not just that we should check it out. So he actually wanted us to play Symphony of the Night. So, I'm just going to apologize to Alex. Alex, I'm sorry, because I think you're the only person who's upset about this. This is a very cool learning thing. I've always heard about Lords of Shadow. Like I said, it was one of the first podcasts I did, one of the first episodes. Like, one of the guys was playing Lords of Shadow.
They made 2 of them, man. So,
well, apparently people shouldn't bother with the second one. So if you hate the first one, you should definitely not play the second one. Because apparently people hate that one, but people enjoy this one.
I thought it was funny because when this happened, this was early in the workday, probably like 10 or 11 that we were seeing this come through. So I was like trying to respond as I was doing something, and there was only one person who was not responding basically all day until the tail end of the day. And it was Alex, and it's very clear because he was fuming.
Also,
and I want you all to know, I saw the message as soon as it came through.
Yeah,
I was not that busy. I saw it. I just went. I was in my kitchen and I just went.
So this is mostly just torture for Alex, and this is now just technically my pick. But yes,
definitely not technically. Definitely.
Well, he did say that he's enjoying the podcast as far as this book club. He's very interested in our takes on it, and he also thought that it'd be a great thing to do before we play Symphony of the Night, because we can kind of compare and contrast. So I will most likely be choosing Symphony of the Night for my next
quality
book club.
Between those two.
I'm trying. So no. So like I'm trying to. I've been trying to have do some mental gymnastics this week. I knocked out the entirety of the playthrough last night because I wasn't gonna have time to do it today, and I'd waited so long, and I just planning for vacation and doing other stuff. I have to get it done because I'm gonna go out of town. So it was okay, I have to play it. So I played it all, and I've tried to sit down and do okay, what's a retrospective? If I was playing this back in the day, how would I judge and so on? I think I would be less angry at the sins of this game if we didn't come right out of Prince of Persia, right? If we had played something else, but I feel like I'm playing 2 very similar, broken, pieces in time, and they both have the same sins to them, except for this one. Actually, I told Travis this when I was talking about it for the show as well. This is in a simulator theme. This is a simulation of a video game. They want you to play, but they refuse to let you by making everything a quick time event. Everything. You want to spin a wheel to open a gate? Quick time event. You want to kill this vampire? Quick time event. You want to pull that board down from the window? Quick time event.
That, to be fair, that is a lot of God of War in general. Like, you're mashing buttons to open up a door. You're mashing buttons to open up a chest. It's very God of War.
Some of it is even more than God of War, though. Like, there's some things. There's
sure
certain activities in this game. To Alex's point, there is certain activities in this game that you do it and you go, yeah, I should have seen this coming. Like, you're like, of course. It's like Gabriel needs to unzip his pants to go to the bathroom, and it's a fucking quick time.
So now you got the quick time event, yeah.
It is literally like it's a video game simulator.
I'm gonna grab some more water. Keep going.
You're good. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. I think that's why I say, like, I think I'm more hard on it now because we're coming right out of Prince of Persia, which was also not a great game. So I might feel differently, but even with that, I have a lot of frustrations with it, which we're going to talk about as we.
I have some on my list as well. I would say overall, like, I enjoy the look of it. I don't hate the combat, but some of the things in this game are just holding it back from being a decent game and putting it down a little bit further to where it's just like, you don't have to do this. Like, why? And we'll get to it. Why, Chupacabra? Why?
I will say this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Whoever made the decision in a Castlevania game to not let you meet your first vampire until chapter 5 and not get to your castle until chapter 6, right? Like, that person that made that decision said, let everybody playing this game will love spending 5 chapters facing lichens in a magical forest somewhere, should never work in this industry again. And, like, I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, if that person, like, I hope that person just found another job somewhere.
Yeah, that makes me believe that wiki about it being like a reboot or like a reimagining of Castlevania, to where it's like, I can see that now for sure.
I've played this. We're gonna have nothing against this game, Preston. We're gonna finish it. We're gonna have 7 parts of this game when you could have cut out the first 4 chapters because they have nothing to do with vampires or anything else. Yeah. The intro to this game should be what we're gonna talk about here, which is the town village and then, like, the skybox to the castle. That should be the first chapter of this game. And the fact we had to get through 4 chapters to get here is insane to me. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm not mad at all.
All right. Okay, so we're starting off with chapter 5. We enter the vampire territory. It's very snowy. And then the old god just kind of fucks off without saying anything to us. The horse does a little neigh, and then we just kind of give him a head nod. We run immediately into the chupacabras. So as I thought, he does show up. I'm like, they are preparing us. Like, oh yeah, they're preparing us. They're just going to fucking do this. They're just going to do this.
I was so mad. I was so mad.
Drains your power. We fight a bunch of goblins without our power to chase after him. More goblins and a boar to break down the door. From here, we find him. He's on a ledge, so we can try to get this ledge. You find out while trying to get to him on that ledge, because you got to jump over a little bit to it, he'll hit you down. So you try to jump up there, he'll hit you down, and...
Really quick, give a count. How many times did everybody
6.
fall down?
3.
6 times. 6
5.
times.
Only because I started using the fairies more. And like right before I'm like, I'm going to start using the fairies more because I figured out the whole D-pad thing to choose like your secondary weapon. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just use the fairies. And that worked out just fine for me. I got lucky, I feel, but yeah.
I felt as though I shouldn't have to use the fairies and I should be able to jump across and smack the thing or throw a dagger across. Right? That's how I felt.
But if you look at the character's profile, it shows you what they're susceptible to, and it's not daggers.
So can I say...
Can I tell you why I am not opening that stupid fucking book? That's what Alex is about to say.
This game does something that pisses me off to no end. It happened somewhere else, and I'll remember later like where it happened. This game teaches you things by trial and error, and like it pisses me off the way that they do it. Like there's times where like I'll go somewhere and I'll be like, or try to do something like, oh, can't do that, and the way you find out is by dying or by falling off the puzzle and having to climb up. And like I tell you where it was. It's the magic puzzle later. There's a 5-button magic puzzle where it's one of 2 puzzles.
For me. Yeah.
Don't teach me the solution by trial and error. Put something in the environment, like make it difficult. That's fine.
It's a note on a night that if you would have read it, it would have told you the exact sequence of what you need to do it.
I actually got it. I got it on my third try. Just by guessing. What happened was when I got to the bottom and saw like the loop around, it was red, red, blue, and I go, well, clearly the other side's gonna be like blue, red, red, and it was, and I was like, cool. Anyway,
it's
moving
red,
on.
blue, red. Yeah, but
whatever it was. But I got the first three, and I was like, I got lucky and like nailed it, like sweet. And so then the other side, I was like, clear.
What this game actually teaches you to do, which is the thing that I find irritating, is look, I'm still on your side, but I'm just saying, here's what it actually teaches you to do. Is open up every single fucking note that you get and then look and see if it has something to do with it. But here's why I think that's bad. There are some notes that are helpful and give you hints to whatever's happening, whether it's a puzzle, whether it's the thing, whatever. And some of those notes outright give you the answer. Like, they just tell you whatever's happening. Yeah. Other notes are just flavor text. And here's the problem, is that if you make some flavor text and some helpful, especially when my first couple notes that I got in the very beginning of the video game were all flavor text, why would I ever assume, going forward up until it happens, why would I ever assume that they're going to be helpful all the way up until they are? And then once I figure that out, now I have to go, I guess I have to open up every single fucking one of these. And then you open it up, and then you have to skim it and go, is that helpful or no? No? Okay, click, and then you move on. And that is irritating behavior.
Everyone will be happy to know, for the rest of this playthrough, I will continue to brute force these puzzles.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna open it up and play.
You don't always have to brute force. You don't have to, but you can always skip them too.
No.
If you pay attention and look for the knights, you can skip them.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm sure chess will be an interesting story. All right, going forward, we make our way into the village, or to the village, outside the castle. One of two villages, I guess, at this point. Zobek is there praying over a bunch of dead bodies. It says that the vampire clan has slaughtered the entire village because they know we're coming. So we go towards the abbot in the abbey, as he has a relic that will help us against the vampires. We now fight a bunch of ghouls, which I think look like the Blade 2 vampire mutants. We take them out.
Yeah, what's up with their weird, like, shoulder pincer things?
I think those are supposed to be, like, not as wings, because vampires have the wings and they got the shoulder things, so maybe they're supposed to turn into wings later on.
But they have both, right? Don't they have the wings and the pincer things?
Vampires have the wings. Ghouls don't have wings.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, my guess is like failed transformations. That's my guess.
I'm assuming, yeah. Ghouls are supposed to be like the minions of vampires, but yeah. Who knows what their myth is here. We now fight ghouls who look like... Yep, there we go. Take them back. We take them out and block the holes with graves before they spawn out. And this is kind of showing us what we're going to be doing for a lot of this Abbey section, which is we're going to need the help of Zobek. And we're going to need to make sure that the enemies aren't out there hitting us or Zobek. Sometimes you get lucky and Zobek distracts them for you while you're doing whatever you needed to do. But essentially, yeah, there's these holes in the ground where vampires and zombies will come out of. We put the graves over the top of them so it stops to respawn.
The nice thing
also vomit poison, which is
the nice thing about like telling Zobek what to do is just the Y button, so there's no QuickTime event. The downside is in order to get to any action to tell him to do anything, it requires a QuickTime event. So there's that. Yeah,
that's fair. We find another brother upgrade grave, which gives us the stake upgrade. This will allow us to use the half wheels in the ground that we've seen to open things up.
Bro, I texted.
Oh yeah.
I texted Christian this as soon as it happened. It was late last night. Otherwise, I would text you both. I didn't know what you were doing, and only because we were talking about it. We got an upgrade to essentially do nothing more than stick our fucking cross in a hole.
Not true.
And wrench it. No, it's very true. The animation doesn't change. We could have... This thing extends 35 feet. I can hit it with anything. And I've come up to these stupid wheels all game. And he goes, oh, well, I'm a Belmont. I can't figure this out. I guess I just can't use the wheel. Come back later. And now it's like, oh, you earned a stick. Now you can put it in there.
So... if you grabbed a ghoul, it will also automatically kill it in one hit because it does a stab with a stake and does the light thing that pops out of them. I don't know if that's from the stake or that's just the animation for grabbing a ghoul. But if it is for the gabagools...
Grab a ghoul!
Yeah, gabagool. Anything that's like less than a vampire, like anything small, like the ghouls or the flying things, I am now just grabbing all of those. Like I am not unless I need magic or unless I need something.
Oh, like
from
the little
combat.
devils, dude. They're all getting grabbed and hitting the
I'm
deck.
grabbing every single one of them because just grab, press the button at the right time, grab, and just do that over and over again. I'm not sitting in combos. No, they're not going to dodge out of my way.
When you stake them, though, do you see, like, when you stab them at the bottom of your cross, right? Do you see, like, a stake come out of it?
You see the light come out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if nothing comes out of the bottom...
ghouls before that upgrade.
Right. But if nothing comes out of the bottom, you're not staking them with anything, how is this motion different than the wrench motion you could have done previously?
Or all those giant, quote-unquote, crowbars that you find, which are just poles that you find. How could you not use any of those? Who knows, man? There's a lot of decisions were made. All right, so after we get that upgrade, we are now at the bottom of the Abbey. This is where we fight the kind of base vampires. We fight, grab a lever for the door. No upgrade door? Okay, all right. And this I'll put down here. So it's like, okay, we just got the upgrade to open doors with our stake. But then they have us find a lever on the ground to open doors for here when they could have just had the half circle on the ground to show you how your thing works. From there, we go across and punch a statue through a door. Grab the lever again, open another door, bring the lever again to work a platform over to get a key, and then bring the lever back for the other door. All of this after getting the upgrade to open different doors.
So tedious.
So the last one...
we do that so much, I'm confused which part you're talking about. Because there's also the part where we have to use a wedge in a wheel in the center of the courtyard and move the room around.
So it's kind of the same wheel. So this area had us go in there. It's us and Zobek. We open the door. Zobek has to hold it for us to get into the other side. Yep. And then we punch that statue to take down the door so we can grab the lever to open up one of the two doors on either side. One of them leads to like a platform area that you move a platform with that lever.
Yep.
They get a key. And the second one...
The other was the roofie thing.
Yeah, the second one is a trap, because apparently the abbot has a bunch of traps in here. So this one, the walls are collapsing, so Zobek holds one open, holds it from closing all the way. You're supposed to go to the next one, hold that one, and you kind of just leapfrog it all the way through. Why the whole wall wasn't coming down all at the same time? By quick time events. By doing mashy mashes. Do some button mashing. So after we get through that section, we get the second key. Here, we go through a door, and now we get a teleportation puzzle, which I put down that I did every variation of this before I got to the final one. So as you're trying to do this teleportation puzzle, essentially you see a big warpy teleport on one side. It's kind of blocked off, and then you have another one of these sections with a lever to where you're moving where the teleporter is going to be. Or at least the floor circle where you kind of come out of. There's a teleportation section over there. So you're moving that little exit way to kind of get into different spots, whether it's an upgrade, whether it's this and that, or whether you actually get another piece. You can kind of go through that way. And then finally you get it into another section with the door to leave this place, all while taking down ghouls and vampires while Zobek's fighting them. Zobek has to hold that open.
Every time you go to the portal and you come back, they spawn again. After a while, you're just like, I get it. And everything, even on easy. I don't know about you guys. I knocked it down. Remember, even on easy, everything's so fucking tanky. And just just go into your white flashy thing so I can kill you.
With ghouls, just grab them, bro. Just fucking grab them. You'll kill them in one hit every time. And I think, from what I remember correctly, the first time you go into there, there's vampires and ghouls. Mm-hmm. Everyone after that, I'm pretty sure, I don't think they spawn any more vampires. It's all just ghouls.
Yeah, it's just ghouls.
So when you teleport and you go back to there to move the thing, before you have to move the thing, you got to kill the ghouls off. I just go grab, kill, grab, kill, grab, kill, done. Let's move it, rinse and repeat kind of deal. So after
the subtext for this game should just be called, it's not Castlevania Lords of Shadow, it's Castlevania Lords of Tedium.
So after we get to the right one with the teleportation, we exit the catacombs. We enter a spot filled with books where Zobek says there must be a way to the library from here. I'm like, aren't we not in a fucking library? There's books everywhere. I'm like, okay, well, apparently there's a secondary library somewhere. From here, we kind of walk forward a little, or Zobek walks forward a little bit, gets trapped behind a gate, and we fight an armored poltergeist, which I said looked a lot like the one from the Ghostbuster video game, where they just compile pieces of themselves together, you fight them, they fall apart.
That's true.
Can I tell you how excited I was? In every room I would run into, when I would see a red ball of electricity, boy, was I excited just to fight another one of these. Like
I haven't found it too bad. I had the heavy attack where you slam a bunch of times and then you just take the shield off and you jump onto them. I just think that's too much.
Oh, it's not that anything that's like bad to fight. Although, get a couple of those stupid guys in there with like a bunch of skeletons that can turn into magic tornadoes.
So here's the thing. Can I tell you
the purple crystal and it deletes them all.
Yep.
It's great. I did like once. I'm like, fuck, it kills those things in one hit. I'm like, I'm doing this every time I get a group of things.
Yes, it is easily the solution that they want you to do. Which again, I think giving you upgrades to fix quality of life problems is the bad thing to do in game design. Just so we're clear. But yes, as soon as you walk in and you see a giant spawn full of enemies. You press that crystal button, they all disappear.
Yeah, it's very nice. Especially when you get a couple of those knights and skellies at the same time, like later on. I definitely use that on that scenario.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. When you finish off those two guys, you see a couple more spawning in, but it's a cutscene. So what Zobek does, he's reading a fucking book. He's like, I know where it is. He closes the book and just smashes a fucking table that has a lever in the middle of it. And then it opens up a trap door that you jump into, which you get to the actual library of this section. So once you open up the trapdoor, you get through there. This will be a bigger type of light puzzle. There's like aisles of books. You're kind of pushing mirrors around, moving light, going throughout this entire area. Through here, you'll take out a couple baby demons and a night guy, but mostly just a larger light puzzle.
So any slider puzzle, right? Like, because that's what this is. You have to slide the lights.
Punch, move. Yeah.
They have yet to do a single one. I might be wrong on that. Maybe the final one. I think the final light in this puzzle is the first one they've done that the answer isn't push it as far as it'll go to the end.
Oh yeah.
So like, what kind of slider puzzle are you when you're just like, just bang them all the way to the end of the little like,
I thought
path
it was
they
to
can
the
take.
end, but
I also thought it was.
Okay.
I think
then let me rephrase that. They have yet to do a single one where the answer is not bang it to the end.
I don't think they have done that yet.
Because there's not precision you can get with that. You hit it, maybe you have to hit it twice, but like there's no like move it a little bit.
You're right, because
there's
no grab in this game or anything.
If you let it go, if you like, so that charge animation, even though it doesn't seem like it is, there's levels to it. The second that circle starts to apply and Gabriel's fist is all the way back, and if you let it go right there, the statue will just go a little bit.
Okay.
But if you hold it and wait for 3 seconds, it'll go, all the way to the end or whatever. Now, there is no part of that animation that makes it seem like there's different power levels there, but there is.
Okay. You could easily, like, if you have a slider already, you could have Gabriel grab it and walk with it. It's just, like, it's not, my frustration this whole game, it's not a puzzle. It's just push this to the end.
Things.
It's just move it to the end. It's just tedium. Yeah, it's not a puzzle.
Time wasters, yeah. All right, so after we move all those lights around, we go towards the tower at this point. So we pull down a giant bridge, start climbing the tower that we see in the distance, which is obviously the top of the abbey. We get to the top. We find Zobek up there already. We confront the abbot, who definitely...
Did anybody else question how the fuck Zobek did that, by the way?
Yeah, how he just met you up there? He was like, hey...
I'm guessing
I'm up here
just
too.
somehow
When we left
that
him,
section.
he was stuck behind a gate, and he couldn't get out, and he pulled the lever and said, go.
But no one questions what happened. He just happens to be.
And then we had to go through the outside of these
transmission to the top of the tower and was waiting for us. I was like... We literally came to the window, and he's like, they start talking. I go, my first thought when I was like, how the fuck did you get here?
Yeah, I had the same thought. Like, did you have the key to the stairs and nobody else? Like, what the hell?
Because if you could have gotten out of there, then why didn't I just come with you? Like, why didn't we just go together?
The only thing I can think of is there might be something sus about him. Because when you first get into this village, it's like, I've come here to do what I need to do, or something like that, or like the folly plans or something like that. There's some weird sentence he says in one of his narrations at the beginning of this playthrough, as far as this part 3. I thought was a little weird.
Dare
could have been wording.
Sir Patrick
Stewart. Sir Patrick Stewart. I know. It's horrible me. So yes, we get find the abbot, who is batshit crazy. We scold him, and then we take the relic.
And then leave him to die. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Skull would take the relic because, of course, the relic is the thing that's keeping the vampires away from him. That's why he has it. But we're taking it because we need it to help us defeat the Lord's Shadows in this vampire area. So the relic is a new throwable weapon. It's the holy water flasks. So
I use this one a lot.
Yeah, it's very, very useful. It tends to just like stun enemies.
Also,
and get them
the abbot got his.
Yes,
that
is coming up next. So since we took the flask and we left him there, that is when the vampires come by just to feast on him. After he gets got, we go outside. There's a boy outside of, I guess, the second part of town. He says that they want us alone. Zobek needs to stay behind. So vampires know we're coming. Apparently they're fucking up the town. And have left this boy to kind of give us a message, essentially.
Why would they want us alone as a... I mean, I get we're a Belmont. We're also, like, one of those brothers of whatever. But, like, so is Zobek. So wouldn't Zobek serve the same danger that we serve?
That's
like,
why I'm pulling up the sus point.
Both of us?
So we're going to... Yeah. It's very odd that for some reason he would need to stay behind, but whatever. Who knows? It could just be bad writing, too. You never know.
I mean...
it's like, we don't want to have to do a second person in this next section, so let's just give him a reason to stay behind. He's going to take care of the boy.
let's do a favor to the gamer and make sure they don't have to press Y on everything they do as an extra added thing.
We enter the village that is on fire. In there, we fight a bunch of vampires. The holy water is good. Nice little AoE stun. And then they kind of scurry off, and a larger vampire boss shows up. This one, if you read deep into it, this is Vampire Commander Braun. So you fight him a bunch, you tear off his wings, it kind of gets into the second phase, and
really
then...
quick on this fight, did you guys... There's a part where he throws the sword and he's like, catch this, or try and catch this, or something like that.
I tried to parry it.
Did anybody figure out how to catch it?
No, but to be fair, I was killing him so fast that he only did that once to me.
He did it like twice or
also,
to me, but like
also to be fair, I'm playing the normal levels completely on mute. I just don't even want to hear it.
What's the non-normal level?
Oh, like the narration between
cutscenes. Okay, anything that's not a cutscene, you're okay.
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm saying,
I didn't even know
the
he
reason
said
that I'm wondering is because. So maybe they mean parry. I don't know.
I think they mean parry, and that is like a very highly used phrase back then, which is like catch this, and like someone throws a bomb or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. Wait a minute. When you say back then, what are we referring to?
Early aughts, late '90s, like that. That's what I'm thinking. Like catch this,
when this
and
game
they do a
came
fucking
out.
thing. Yeah.
Not fucking 1452.
Goddamn.
Are we talking about like Victorian England? Like, everybody was just running around like.
No, we're talking like.
Catch this!
So the news is out. Catch it!
catch this!
Catch the bread. Like, what are we?
No, but here's the thing. So the reason that it pisses me off if it is parry is because I have a whip. Yeah. And the things that I've been using to catch things, like, I don't know, rocks that were being thrown at me, or eggs that were being thrown at me,
you try to use the
is
grab
that I have to
button?
use R2 and use the grab button to catch it then throw it back at the person. I, both times, sat there and tried to press R2 and then ate that fucking sword like an idiot because it wouldn't let me do it. And I was like...
I imagine you just yelling at the screen like, I'm trying to catch it!
You're saying catch.
Well, no, but I was like... So then I killed him and it was fine, but I was like... I almost started typing to look it up, and then I just was like, I know that I don't care this much, so I'm just going to let it go. But I bet the answer is parry, but if that's the case, again, it's a failure in the game's own teaching language.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So you get him all the way down. You kind of take the blade to his head, and then with the stake cross, you kind of stab him in the back, and you see that little eject out of there too as well.
Did you have to do something to get... I forget. So when he gets to 10%, he essentially gets like the white health bar, which is like you have to do X, Y, Z. Was that just beat him up long enough to get the sword to glow and then do that stuff? Or was there something specific you had to do to get him out of that? I forget.
I think you're getting mixed up with the last guy.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that
guy?
one?
That was the butcher.
No. I know the butcher was last guy, but what was the... Didn't this guy have something like that with his health, or was that?
I don't think so, unless it was a cutscene they didn't want you to.
Then I'm getting
I'm getting
confused. Okay, sorry.
All right, so we kill them off. We leave town. The shitty town people wave us goodbye. And, I'm sorry, shitty-looking town people wave us goodbye. As we follow
those unshowered, flea-ridden.
No, if you look at them, like their mouths are like
poly people.
Their faces look all distorted and shitty and weird. Yeah, they looked really bad compared to like all the other NPCs in this game. And then we follow
know how
one
Preston
of them.
feels about Eastern Europe.
Jesus. No. So we follow one of them. We get just outside the castle. That one villager waves us away. So I'm guessing he found that they brought us to this section as far as finding a way into the castle. So as we wave goodbye, we enter what looks like the sewer. Slow water walking again with the poison clouds and then also with the grabby hands. Turning levers to stop some sewage flow coming out of some like statue mouths to get through to open a door. I don't know, but this first part of the sewer area took me fucking forever to figure out what's going on. Because I didn't notice the second sewer mouth. So I just assumed that you get the first one down, that's supposed to drop you in that little section of the door till you go in to get like what little bonuses and stuff is out there. I didn't notice the second one. So I'm like running around trying to find stuff, dying because I'm just kind of just seeing if I can make it somewhere. Finally figured out there's a second mouth thing. This is like when I looked up. I'm like, okay, fuck this. Let me look it up. So as you get past that second one.
I too got frustrated after like 15 minutes of dicking around and like dying twice. I also looked it up.
Yeah.
And it's because when you pull the thing, it's the shittiest fucking camera angle that you either barely or cannot see that the second one stops. So I also had to Google it, and that's just bad. That's just bad.
It's not great.
My problem came in this next section, not this one. I just got lucky, and I figured out that it's like that what it wanted me to do here.
Christian's running through the entire level with the boots, just skipping everything. It's like I don't.
If you can, yeah.
Yes, I sprint through, and then when there's like gaps that I need to clear, I use the sprint boots and I jump and I clear it, and then I'm like, great, I didn't have to do that again. Skipping parts, it doesn't matter. Yeah, go ahead.
So we get past that little sewer vomit section, and we get to finally one of the half circles that we can open a door with our new stake. Fun part about this, though, is that I guess it's kind of a little bit of a humor with this one, because every turn, because you hear a skeleton kind of show up, you see him in the background. Every time you turn it, you're kind of blocking it, and then it comes back, and the skeleton's a little bit closer, and a little bit closer.
Yeah, he's playing red light, green light with you.
Yeah, he's playing a little red light, green light, which I thought was kind of a little cheeky, a little funny. And then this is where...
Was it? Yeah, I was going to say, was it?
I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, So we get to the funny cutscene of the skeleton. We fight clones of Spinal from Killer Instinct. We take all these down. The kind of trick with these guys is you hit them hard enough to get their shield away. They fall down and crumble, but they can get back up. They only get back up once, so if you decide not to kill them the quote-unquote proper way, you just got to kill them twice. But if you do a heavy attack while they're down or for that last hit... they will just fall all apart, and you don't have to take them down anymore.
No, what's funny is that if you do a heavy attack before they get up, it still doesn't kill them. Like, as in, if you go into a room and you see the skeleton enemies on the floor,
it's not going to stop them from...
and then their bones start shaking, they're invulnerable that whole time. Yeah. And it's like, but...
So, funny thing for me was that it says, okay, heavy attack to destroy the skeleton bones. So, what do? I'm doing the giant super punch. So, I'm like, okay, let's just do this and try... That doesn't kill him. You have to do a heavy attack. I
was literally going to say the same. Not everything counts as heavy attack. Not even heavy attacks all count as heavy attacks.
No, it's the slam down.
Heavy attacks are holding square or holding X and then getting him to whip it forward really hard. That is the heavy attack.
Yeah, so stupid.
Even though something else is called the heavy attack. It's fine. It's fine.
Yep.
From here on, we have a spike puzzle here. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Talk about Alex not liking to have to remember the fairies and stuff. I did this so many fucking times thinking that was speed. What you do is you hit a button and it opens the door on the far end of the hallway, and what you think is you gotta run real fast to get past the spikes, but you never just quite make it. And the door always kind of gets down.
I thought there was a switch at the end, so I started jumping before I got to the end. Like, I'll just
That's
jump
what I did too, yeah. Maybe jump a little bit. No, it gets you right there at the end, even if you're jumping. So this is another one of those fuck you, I'm looking it up moments. And if you have the dark magic on and throw a dagger, it apparently is strong enough to hit a button from far away.
Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you my journey through this.
Okay.
I had this happen one other time in this game, or in this part, and it sent me over the edge.
And while you tell us this, I also want you to tell us where in the journal, Mr. Journal People, this hint was.
It's in the abilities, like the combos and stuff you unlock. If you go through there,
I'm saying
like,
how was I supposed to know this puzzle required that? Like, where is that journal entry?
There's like there is a journal entry, and it's like I need to figure out a way to hit this switch from far while I'm near the gate or whatever. Okay. But here's the problem. Here's again, you're teaching language when you're trying to have players intuit things from the environment. Number one, if you punch that button and then you wait on the other side of the spikes, that gate will stay open forever. Time. It will never go down.
I looked up my YouTube video. Yeah, I looked up the YouTube video and stood there to see what the timing was. It never dropped.
Yeah, it will not drop.
Nope.
So that's number one.
Yeah.
Then, so you start to think, okay, well, it's clear when I get too close, it shuts. Mm-hmm. Now, that automatically would turn off the idea, well, I should try to hit the button from here, because if I'm too close, it'll just shut, because that's clearly what triggers it. But no, so I tested it once. I said, okay, let me throw a knife. And then it hits the knife, and then it goes, boop, and then it comes back down. And I go, okay. You know what? And this is literally the thought I had. I said, I guarantee you it wants me to use shadow magic. Okay, I'll do that. However, I then did the charge for throwing the knives where you throw 5 at the same time.
Oh, you held it down, yeah.
Yeah. Guess what didn't work?
That.
So I then said,
it's not
maybe
that.
I'm wrong. It must not be shadow magic, because if it was, this would work. But it only made the gate jump up a little bit. And I go, so that can't be it. Okay, I guess that's not it. So then I was like, I'm like, maybe I need to, like Alex said, maybe I need to jump. Maybe I need to like roll something, right? Like I need to do anything. Maybe I have to, I even thought, maybe when I press the button and the cutscene starts, because Gabriel can still move, I was like, maybe I need to like figure out my direction so that I can run through that cutscene, then sprint and like get it to work that way. Still didn't do it. So I also got frustrated, looked it up, and it was like, throw the fucking thing. And I was like, I did that. And they go, yeah, but you didn't throw the right one. And it tries to tell you.
I love that we all looked this up, by the way. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to give you an environmental hint by putting an unlimited amount of throwing knives right next to the button, which I get. But my problem is that if I use shadow magic, like I did the thing you wanted me to do, I just didn't throw I didn't throw a single one, I threw a charged one. Whatever. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous.
The charged one should have still pushed the button.
Yeah.
But
I love that we all had to look that up. That's a great puzzle. It's the first puzzle truly in this game that requires some sort of puzzle critical thinking, and you didn't even get like the puzzle solved for it, I don't think, at the end of it. So like
I think you do. I think you do.
Well, congratulations. I didn't think you did. It's the first thing in this game.
You might not.
So I don't think that's one you can skip either, yeah.
As soon as you go through the game, it's one of those like level done, like bam, right in the face.
So that's the end of that's the end of the level.
Not only that level,
that's also the end of the chapter.
Jump scares of level ending screens.
It's true. I'll talk about it later when we get to the end.
Yeah. All right. So you exit the sewer from there, and you go right on into chapter 6. We get some more information. The vampires know we are coming, so when we approach the castle, we start turning a wheel.
Nothing made me happier than seeing there's one required.
Thank you. I was going to ask, because I know, Preston, you already know the length of these. Alex, when you saw that there was only 4 missions of this, you go, oh, thank God.
I did. I went, oh, thank God, because I knew one of them would be a boss fight. So it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, we start up chapter 6. Essentially, we start approaching the castle. We turn a wheel, find some big knights, open the door, find some skelly boys. Also, the vamps unleash a warg, and just a bunch of enemies, a bunch of battles. Another stake wheel, some more skeletons. We head up to a tower. Bad writing, Preston. We head up to a tower to the courtyard. We enter the courtyard maze. We head up a tower to the courtyard. That makes sense now. Okay, fair enough. I got it. We're good, guys.
No,
From there, we enter the courtyard maze. This is where we find the new enemies. The Magdragora?
Magdragora.
Magdragora. Little Groots that sap up your life. Very easy to kill. 9 times out of 10, just try to run past them as quick as possible. Now, when they're sapping your health, they do slow you down a little bit. So if you get a couple of them on you, I just kind of do little swingy swings, and they die really quickly.
They're just
completely pointless.
That's the frustration. Yes, that's the frustration. If they serve no purpose, then don't have them. That's
they constantly spawn in. So no matter how many you kill, they will constantly just rise up from the ground again because they're little nature. Little
and this is one of those things where as I'm playing, I think about the retrospect. If you are playing this on hard difficulty, these are probably the most infuriating little pieces of shit in this video game.
Oh yeah,
probably.
So from here, you run around a bunch. I run by most and kill them. They slow me down. We end up finding a spider at one point to mount, because as we walk past a bridge that's glowing, that's when you usually find the spider. There also is a couple doors you can bring down as well with the spider. I got super turned around in this one. So I got the spider, and I'm just walking around the entire maze, not able to find this fucking bridge again. Which is literally just to the left of where you start off that spider, but I don't go left. I go forward with it. So I'm going forward, I open up this door, I'm walking all the way back to the beginning of this whole entire maze section. I'm like, where the fuck is this goddamn bridge? So I do look it up, because I'm like, I'm not sitting here running around this maze the entire fucking day. I'm like, oh, good. It's just left of where I found the fucking spider. So I go back to that section and go to left. Put down the little web bridge, which, of course, we can't jump over with our new boots. They give us long jump. But we need the spider now for this.
So can I tell you about my experience in that one? So I'm running around, and I somehow missed the spider area on the first run around.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't a big deal. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like, I'm sure it took me longer, but like I was able to to mark off where the doors were. So I was like, I'm gonna need something here, right? Cool. So like I'm gonna run around until I find something. So I found the spider immediately. I went to the first door to the right, boom, yanked it open. Awesome. Went to the next one without getting off. I just went to the next one, boom, yanked it open. And then I found the bridge. I was like, cool, let's go ahead and drop the bridge. And go, okay, well, I think this is going to progress me. So now that I have the web bridge, I'm going to hop off and go. So I shoot the web bridge, kill the spider, hop off, run over into the door, and they're like, you need a key. And I was like, okay, I'm wrong. This is going to progress me. I need to go back. So run right over to the bridge. Well, guess what doesn't stay? The bridge doesn't stay.
Oh,
so if you hop off and
Mine stayed.
No. So I had to go back, get the spider again, shoot the bridge again, kill it again, and then go across it to get the item and come back and run.
I didn't do the bridge first, but my bridge stayed. Can I tell you that I truly am sorry for that.
I was pissed.
My guess is that you must have hit some sort of bug or something. Who knows? But that is. Oof. And they must know about.
I think what happened. I mean, what I assume what happened is I went to the door and interacted with the door, and it would normally open if you have the item, but I didn't.
They must know about that bug, because here, let me tell you what happened to me.
Okay.
So I did mostly the exact same thing that you did, except I didn't do I did the far door first that was just like an extra area, and then I came and ran all the way back to go do the bridge, because I figured that last one or that middle one was the progress door. So I go to the bridge, but as I was running back up, a spider spawned again. And I was like, why? I don't need you. Like, I was like, get the fuck out of here. And I ran past it and didn't fight it, and then went across the bridge. But now I'm wondering is if they must know that there's some sort of conditional bug there.
Yeah.
And rather than fix it, they
just
were like, well, fuck
spiders.
it. We'll just spawn the spider all the time.
Yep.
And that way they'll be able to recreate the bridge if they need to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Solving problems with problems, baby. Let's go.
Do it. So after you cross that little bridge area,
incredible.
So where we get to a rotation puzzle, kind of like the one we saw in our dream with the blade and our wife. This one I got super lucky. I just went right twice. If I can solve a puzzle.
I don't think you got lucky. I just think it's a poorly designed puzzle.
It is wild that puzzle is like, hey, go on the outside, press counterclockwise twice, you're done.
Yeah.
Or clockwise twice, and you're done. And I was like,
I didn't solve it that fast. I went inside first. But I went inside first, realized what happened, went out. Because I never go inside middle because you go, oh, these two moved, right? I don't need to do the next. So I went inside, outside, and got them all faced the same way immediately. It was like, click, 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 cool. Anyway, moving on, so.
Yeah, I just pressed the one button to kind of see what would happen when you moved them. I'm like, okay, I just tried it one more time. I'm like, oh, I'm just done? Okay, I'm done then. Okay, cool.
Puzzle solved!
Super hard puzzle, guys.
Puzzles for puzzles.
From there, you get the vampire key. This will now allow us to open the big main door to the castle. So we go all the way back there.
That's all I hear every time I do a puzzle now.
Yeah.
So we go all the way back, and we enter what is the Great Hall. From here, we see a bunch of kind of windows boarded up with a bunch of drapes. Vampires will spawn from here, out of the ground, just like the ghouls did. So you take care of a bunch of the vampires before they spawn back. You take down the boards, and then you can take down the drapes to have the sun show in to stop the spawns. But I did not do this at first. I just went all the way forward because I didn't. I looked up, okay, cool. There's those things. Yeah. I figured it was one at the very end. I went all the way down there only to find out after I'm starting the whole quote unquote light puzzle that I got to go all the way back to the beginning and take down all these boards and all the drapes.
I broke this puzzle and the game section here, where I did the first one that the three that is like flashing at you in the cutscene, like, hey, do this, right? So I did it, and I did it before anybody ran at me, and I'm like, dope. And I realized like it froze those guys, and they couldn't get into it. They kind of lit them on fire. I was like, cool. So when in that one, oddly enough, the button hits happen so fast that I would just run to the next one, and I would stand on the far right-hand side, and they would run to me, and I would just loop around them, throw it, and the first one would pop off, and I would throw it again, X, pop off, I'd run back and come back over. And then when you're in the drape animation, once you get the three boards off, you won't get knocked out of it.
Yeah, it's really
so I just baited them to the right side, brought down two boards, and then pulled the thing down every time without fighting a single thing. And was like, yeah, okay.
Okay. All right.
The best way to do this, apparently.
I'm a god.
Yeah. All right. So you're doing a bunch of those. You get down towards the end. You take a right. This will get you into another door, which will kind of help you start the light puzzles. So when you open that door to the right, we can see move another mirror all the way into that hallway. This opens another door to a magic puzzle. You have to use the light and dark magic. This is what we talked about earlier. For certain spots, this is kind of the small version of it. To open a door in the hall. Once you do that, the sunlight will start going away, and the door is opening very, very slowly. So you just gotta kill people.
The slowest gate door ever.
Yes. And you don't have to do anything while you're doing it. It's just kind of opening it on its own time. And you're killing the vampires while you're kind of fucking around there. As soon as that door finally opens, don't worry about all the vampires. Just run right through it, and you'll get to the next area. All right. So from here, once you get into that next area, we will enter in a very large room with kind of a chessboard and some chess pieces. A girl vampire says they will tell us where the Dark Lord, a.k.a. Mother, is at if we play Castlevania chess, which is also called Vampire Wargame.
Did you notice that the narration here from Patrick Stewart was like, oh, now, only the best vampires can emulate, like, the look of humans. So Gabriel will have
rich people.
And they're like, Gabriel will really have to be, like, up to snuff to really be able to figure out, like, who's deceiving him, who's not. And the first one you see is this fucked up looking girl with, like, purple eyes and, like, her skin falling off. You're like,
yeah, I know. They're like, you're never going to be able to tell who's a real human.
I don't
who's
think
not.
that one is one of those, but we'll see what Mother looks like when we get there, I guess. But, like, this is more of like the whole like story of she got turned when she was very young. She's had to stay like this way for centuries. But her personality doesn't change for some reason.
Look at that girl and go, "You're a vampire."
Yeah, no, she has the teeth and the eyes and the skin.
But also, even if she looked totally human. If I fought hundreds of vampires to get into your castle,
to get to one human.
Yeah, and then they go like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh no, don't! I'm a real girl." Yeah, you're getting stabbed through the heart with a stake.
Yeah, that's why I thought when Zobek said that, it's like, so I'm going into the vampire castle and I'm worried about being tricked by them looking like a human. I'm like,
also,
everyone in here is going to be fucked up. Like, there's not going to be one human in here.
You're telling me the descendant from the family known for being vampire slayers is going to have a tough time sussing out a vampire? Like, if you're a Belmont and you can't tell a vampire, I think you've got bad days ahead of you.
Yeah.
So before you tell us more about the chess, Preston, let me just tell you what happened in this scene. So I walk up and I see a chessboard and I go, "Oh, I love chess. Cool." And she's like, "Play with me." And, Gabriel's like, "I don't have fucking time." And she's like, "Play with me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to play with you." So the tutorial book pops up, right? Mm-hmm. Pages start popping up and I'm reading. I'm like, all right, so you're going to play chess, right? Each person takes a turn. Your goal is to, like, take people out, blah, 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 blah. And, like, I get to the second paragraph, and I'm like, okay, read. And it's like, you're going to roll. You're going to spin something to see what your roll means. Something. As soon as I saw the word spin and then what your roll, and then I saw the words will determine, I scrolled to the bottom, went, skip, and just moved the fuck on. Didn't even try it one single time. I was just reading through it, and it was just all, I was like, nope.
I was really close in my prediction, and let me tell you what I thought, because I did not read the tutorial, because but this is my experience, and then what I thought about what was going to happen.
Okay.
I said, I started it up, and then the chess thing happened. Like, it says, like, oh, come play chess or whatever. Mm-hmm. I said, I bet anything this is going to be the one fucking puzzle that Alex plays. Like, because...
Yeah, I love chess.
And I was like, and I literally goes, because he's going to see this and go, oh, I love chess. And that's exactly how I described it. And then I just skipped through the thing. I was like, blah, 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 whatever. And I get into the game. And then I see the wheel, like the roulette wheel pop up where it spins. And I go, he's going to skip this immediately.
And that's what happened. I was reading. I was like, oh yeah, chess, blah, 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 blah. It was like, you'll spin the wheel. I was like, nope, skip, bye. I don't have time for this shit.
So I didn't realize the spinning thing was going to happen. I read mostly like that, how to play the game. I'm like, okay, I kind of got the gist of it. We're just going to play it. I'm going to play it once. If I win, great. If I don't, I'm just going to skip the damn thing. I did win it. So
I did too.
It's very weird. It is a lot. It is kind of a lot like chess. Certain pieces can move certain ways.
It is nothing like chess.
It's the very basic of you move up a square. You have certain ones can move further.
Yes, that part is true.
But they all have their own health bar. They do their attacks. All have different damage levels. So, and the worst part about it is you don't get to choose which piece you want to move. You spin a fucking Wheel of Fortune wheel, and whatever it lands on is what you get to move. Now, Alex, you probably didn't realize this because you didn't play with it, but let's say all of your lichens, or let's say all of your vampires are destroyed on the chess piece. If you land on a vampire or a lichen that you don't have, that skips that turn for you.
Yeah. Amazing.
So
I would have been pissed. As soon as I saw the board, I started thinking, I was like, I wonder if I could check her in like 4 moves. And I'm already thinking like, okay, I was like, I'm going to move a bishop, and I'm going to move a knight, and I'm going to move this pawn. And then as soon as I started reading, I was like, nah, fuck this. I don't have time for this.
It's not really chess. It's vampire.
And they really want you to play it because it's worth 1,500 experience points.
That's a full big old boy upgrade.
I think you got like... I think you get 1,000 is what you get if you skip it, and I was like, they're like,
I thought you didn't get any of it.
I thought you get nothing.
No, you either get half or and I got 1,000 because they're like, oh, you won't get as much, you get more if you do it. And I'm like, I don't care, and just moved on.
Oh,
I thought you just didn't get them at all, but apparently they throw you a bone if you want to skip them. That's
incredible.
All right, so you beat her at chess. She says she's going to show you the way, but yet after that we just enter the refectory. She's not hanging out with us. She's not showing us where Mother's at unless she just said, here, go there, and then you have to go into the refectory. Because Mother's not here right now. So as you walk into the factory, Diablos Games Butcher comes in, dropping a body part, rings a dinner bell. Rings a dinner bell.
A dork bell.
Yeah. Which opens up panels for ghouls to come out of and feed. We go in there, take down those ghouls. We go to the left where we find some more meat, and we put that down that little middle dish section, hit the bell ourselves, and sneak in from where they came out. which will get us into the butcher's kitchen.
It's pretty rich that the best boss they've thrown at you so far, both in design and environment and everything else, is just a straight ripoff of a Diablo boss or enemy.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, it's not a complete ripoff, but it's a butcher, which is in a lot of things, but also...
He looks very similar.
He looks also similar to another boss, but just parts of the bosses. Yeah.
So the problem is that it's more accurate to say that Diablo ripped off of Castlevania, because Castlevania came way earlier, but...
Did this one, though?
Not this specifically, but Castlevania as a series came way before Diablo.
Yeah. Gothic horror is a thing before.
Sure, but if they didn't have this boss specifically in other games, this is just straight up like the best boss.
I think that they've had big fat vampires before, but I don't know. Maybe not, but I don't know. I think that anytime you do like a Gothic horror thing and then they're like, oh man, this ripped off Diablo. I'm like, well, Diablo, all of Blizzard's games is ripped off something else. Like, yeah, but
I'm just being specifically of like the look and design and feel of this boss, right? Yeah. Like you're in the kitchen with like fire and blood everywhere and so on. Like it's just, and honestly, I'll say this: when I saw him and like when you go into him, I was like, this is the first part of this game I've enjoyed. And then they quickly ruined it by the fight, but like in that, I was like, this is kind of cool. And then it was done. It was over. So,
yeah.
So getting to the fight, yes. So we get into the kitchen where we find the butcher. We then have to fight the butcher because we can't just pull a Preston D&D. You can't just have a nice little chit chat with them. You're just going to go straight up fighting him. So when you're fighting the butcher, you're going to take him down as fast as you can. He throws knives. He throws pieces. He tries to pick up other things to kind of like hit you or throw at you with. But for the most part, you can take him down pretty easily.
He eats food and regains his health.
He eats food and regains his health. I always kind of I do a lot of these that heavy attack that does a slam, and I got like 5 times. But like I'm usually doing that to him. If he picks something up like that, you will knock it out of his hand.
The normal vampire thing of eating cooked chicken off the wall heals them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You always hear that about vampires.
Yeah. It's in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It's almost like you almost wonder why, if you could just make chicken, you would even throw human meat on the ground for those other vampires.
Do you guys know that's chicken because they show him chopping up body parts?
It's probably cooked human leg, but either my point, still the fact remains is that there's no blood in that. It's literally cooked like it looks like fried chicken.
Because they need to have cooked food. Yeah. All right, so once you get the health down to like a very, very low point, it will go over to the little kettle area he has, drink everything out of the pot, and put the pot on his head. For here on,
and go enraged.
No matter where you hit him, even outside of his head that has a pot on it, you can't do any damage.
So he always goes.
Yeah, he always like, hey, up here. Up here.
So, and this is why I said, this is where I said, I was like, I actually thought this was pretty cool. And then the game ruined it so fast.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here hitting him. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with him? I figured heavy attacks, maybe throw something at him. No. I ended up jumping, and you jump, and you hit it. And that allows you to start up the Killing Blow QTE.
You know what really pisses me off about that is that my thought was because he keeps going, like, get a fucking helmet on over and over again. And I was like, well, it clearly wants me to take the helmet off. And so I jumped into the R2 move where you can pull yourself to him. And so I was like, Gabriel will pull the helmet off and it'll happen. Yeah, no, it didn't hit. So I go, okay, clearly that must not be it. So then I sat there and did a million other things. And I was like, fuck this. What is it? And I looked up, I was like, just jump up and press square. And I was like, fuck you, dude.
I had, and that's why I say I ruined it. I had the same experience as Christian. As soon as he starts knocking on his helmet, I'm like, yeah, you want me to hit you in the helmet? And for a long time, I'm going, well, you're not that much taller than me. Why does this whippy whip not just hit you in the head in one of these combos?
The animation that's definitely going through his head.
So I'm furious. So then I did what Christian did, and I was like, oh, I'll just jump up and bye. And same thing, it didn't happen. I'm like, what do I do? And I Googled it. Same thing, YouTube video, and it shows a guy like Y button goes bink, and I was, you son of a bitch.
Well, after you finish him off, you get the butcher key. So you go back to the beginning, open the door for a bigger set of magic button puzzles.
Yeah, don't you think out of all the random level ends, like that would have been a good one?
I thought this was for sure going to be a level end, and then it kept going. I was like, okay. Like, I was so confused.
So I didn't super notice. Like, I noticed I got the butcher key, so I went to that room, because, like, the room that you got, like, the meat from the earlier to get the ghouls in. Like, oh, I saw the key door there. I opened that door, and, like, there's just, like, some crystal stuff and a night body here. I'm like, I'm jumping around, trying to find a ledge to grab onto, looking around, like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? And finally, I'm like, okay, well, the only other place I haven't been, again, is the beginning of this fucking level. So I walk all the way back, and sure as shit, you can use the key there. And that's
I did the same, but
buttons.
I ran all the way back because I refused to fight anything after that fight, so I was just running with enemies chasing me the entire
I just
time.
ran through, back like that section. So yeah, here you'll kill a knight and some skellies, or what you can do is what I did, because we just got another one of those purple crystals. I just straight up blasted them and didn't have to fucking deal with them at all, other than watch the demon snake titty monster.
Now, here's the thing.
I gotta use that thing. Oh,
so the best thing is that you can skip that cutscene. Number one,
the floppy.
Every time you do that, you see that cutscene every single time.
But you can't. If you press the button, all you do is press the button, hit start, and then hit skip, and it skips the cutscene, and then all the enemies explode. But I did the same thing, except I turned around and ran. I know. But I turned around and ran back because there's a refill for the crystal.
Yeah.
So I literally used it, stopped, turned around, went and got the refill of the crystal, then came back and hit the cutscene. Because I was like, I'm gonna have another one in the chamber waiting.
I also noted, like, mentally, because I didn't write it down. I thought I should write it down. I was like, oh, it's not worth it. The weird jiggle physics they added for no reason.
Oh yeah.
So it's not great.
It's fine.
Yeah, not for no reason. People like it.
Some of us get enjoyment out of it, okay?
Tips the fedora
just not
down.
for you, okay? Hey man, I like ska, I like fedoras. Leave me alone. All right, so we get to the bigger magic puzzle we talked about earlier. You got 6 little spots here. You got to figure out which one's which. I remember a note from way back when, but from what I remember, it says on the north side this and that. I'm like, I don't fucking know what north, south, and east,
That's a
west
different
is.
one, but yeah,
It's a different one.
it's
Okay.
a different light puzzle.
But I either didn't find that one, or I just decided to just brute force it. So I'm going through. I'm
You
just doing
didn't
it.
find it. I thought these were so easy to find.
I didn't look at all.
That
Dude,
you should-
I'm about 2.5 hours into this. I'm like, I want this door right now. Like, I don't care to look around for anything. Like, because there's a whole section on the very top through the rafters with all upgrades and shit that you can get that I just didn't.
Hey
even
man, you're not
notice.
telling me anything.
First of all,
with.
Alex, do not pretend like either of us were defending the note mechanic.
I
We're
know.
just simply saying that that's what it is. It's still bad, but that's what it is.
Yeah, brute force it. You just
So
kind of do
bad.
trial and error, see which ones stop it. The only shitty part is, let's say you get all the way to the very end, the last one you choose is wrong, you gotta do them all over again. So you gotta run all the way back to get some more magic if you ran out, and come all the way back and do it. You open the fucking door, you get done, end of chapter 6. Wash your hands. How do we all feel?
So, my first feeling is that you said 12 chapters, but when I count, it definitely counts as 14. And I just don't believe there's DLC integrated into this map, so we're definitely playing 14 chapters. So that's my first feeling. But my second feeling is just the
Fear,
fact that,
anger, rage,
Just one more session, but
loathing.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say other than like what we've already said. It just there's so many sins in this game. I don't get it. Like, the game started at the wrong spot. It should have started with chapter 4, and that's the beginning. I did like the butcher part. Like, I didn't like the stupid tap on the helmet thing, but like the aesthetic was at least different, and like it was interesting. So I appreciated that. It's just the thing that gets me, guys. It is just the tedium. It is just the QTEs and the say. And I don't remember if it was the statue puzzle or the light puzzle. So like in the courtyard where you're doing all the statues and you have to move them and get Zobek. It was either that one or it was the light puzzle in the library. But one of them specifically, as I was doing it, I said out loud, like, this is overstayed its welcome. Right? Like they do, like, the puzzles just go so long, and they're not puzzles, they're just like slide everything to the end and move on. But everything just seems to like overstay its welcome a little too much.
I can agree on that.
I again, there's stuff here. Like, I think that there are things in this game that I'm like, this is a cool thing. Like, just if I'm just in a vacuum, like some of the combo moves look cool. Some of the things like that you do with a whip, I'm like, yeah, man, that is a Belmont with a cross whip. Like, that is what that is. Fuck yeah. Like, certain things like that. There's certain execution moves that you do against certain enemies, like Preston, the one you brought up with the ghouls, where you stab the stake through and like the light blows out the back and everything like that. That's all Castlevania shit, man. That's cool. Like, and that
the upgrades you get
good.
later on, like, because you can get the whole like shoot like light from your cross. You can see that in the upgrade section.
Yeah, yeah. There's things here. Like, there's stuff that you're like, you guys have ideas that are Castlevania in nature that I think are cool. It just doesn't. It just is having such a hard time coming together. And I said it last week, but I still my feeling of one step forward, 2 steps back, and sometimes it feels like 10 steps back. Like, I swear to God, this session opening with the Chupacabra section made me want to stake my own brain out. Like, I was so irritated. And then there's just times where like it's frustrating when you have certain, like, it's just tedium for tedium's sake. Like, there's some doors that you walk up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to find a fucking boar or a troll or a spider, and then it's like, no, this is one of the ones you can punch through. You're like, oh, and you're happy. You're like, oh, thank God, it's one of the ones I can just punch through and move on, even though that's also stupid, but it's less stupid than the other options, and so you're like, oh, just fucking praise God that I can just punch through this door and move on. And then you're like, but then it teaches you to be like hopeful, and then another door that comes up is shut, and you're like, maybe I punch through this one, and the game's like, no, this is a spider door. And you're like, I don't want it to be a spider door. Like, it's just like, there's that stuff.
So you actually brought up, sorry, just one thing. You brought up a good point of something I thought of, and it was during the runny puzzle where the spikes. When it comes to like elements, you give us cool shit. Like, I have these super fast boots that allow me to sprint, and I have these gloves that are like powerful. Like, if you want to make an action game, don't stop me from playing by giving me QTEs or waiting till the enemy lights up. Let me use those boots in combat to do something along with the other stuff, right?
This is kind of the shit that I was talking about. Is like there was a moment where I forgot to bring this up, but there was a moment during the butcher fight that I thought to myself, oh, you know what this might want me to do? He might, because he's glowing blue or something, or whatever. He's like purple. I might, yeah. I was like, I might need to do like a charged punch with the gloves to knock his helmet off, and then it didn't work, and I was like, I guess not. And then in my head, but I was like, be a whole lot cooler if it did. Like, and it got me thinking. And here's the thing: is that they kind of look the same, so that's kind of where I am drawing this from. I know you guys have never played this game. Maybe it'll be a clip sometime. But the Beowulf weapons in Devil May Cry is a set of fist and feet weapons that are exactly that. It's crazy punches and kicks that do fucking crazy ass damage and do cool shit. And it's one of those moments where, like, especially because Devil May Cry 3 at this time came out, like, Devil May Cry 3 had been out for, I think, 5 years before this game came out.
Oh, is this the Xbox, the DMC one?
No. I'm talking about nothing from. And anytime I talk about Devil May Cry, I promise you, I'm never talking about DMC.
Okay.
No, this is Devil May Cry 3. Beowulf got introduced there, but it's
because I played 1, 2, and 3, and then I played 5. Those are the only ones I've played. Yeah.
So then you play, but it's on the PS2. So
okay.
So this game had been out for about 5. Devil May Cry 3 had been out for about 5 or 7 years before Lords of Shadow dropped. So the blueprint was there to make cool things happen. It just doesn't, and so that's a whole other thing. But either way, so there's little things like that. It's just all these things that keep adding up to the point where as you're going through, or as I've been playing it, there's sections that will be hit, and I just, like, I sigh. Like, I'm just like, ugh. Because you're like, this game has a shocking way of giving you just little kernels of coolness to be like, I'm into that, or that looks cool, or whatever this is. And then it just, right as you go, my feelings are in the process of elevating, it just starts punching them down, and you're like, all right, never mind, man. Yeah, and so, yeah, it's just, and the puzzle stuff and some of the fight things, like, you're just, yeah, it's a lot. I really, but my biggest problem is the pacing. These ending level sections are getting to be like, I mean it when I say it, it feels like jump scares. You'll be running, and especially like if you're like me and you're using the sprint all the time, like you'll be sprinting, like I'll be sprinting, and then the fucking thing comes up and I'm like, Jesus, like, and sometimes it'll be like right when you're getting into a level, like you'll be like, all right, cool, I'm getting into the flow, I'm doing it, and then it just fucking ends, and you're like, okay, I guess. And then it pulls you out of it, makes you listen to a monologue, and then puts it back in. You're like, you're fucking up the whole flow. And then there's levels like the Butcher one that are longer than you think. And so the Butcher ends, and I go, for sure it's going to end here. And then there's still more level, and you're like, oh my god, okay, whatever. And then you go do the light puzzle, and then the light puzzle ends, and it goes, and you're like, why? You kept me here to do this puzzle for nothing. Like, it's just, like, there was, I don't know, man. Yeah. Castlevania, Lords of Tedium.
If you got hate in your heart, let it out. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Where are we playing
Where
to
you
next?
at, Preston?
Yeah. Right. Well, that's true. Where are you at? That's true. Where are you at? Yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of been feeling the same way. I'm not, like, completely hating it, but there's definitely things that it's like Kristen said, I just disappoint you. Like, oh, man, this would be kind of cool. I'm like, but it's not. Well, this would be pretty cool, but it's not. I am getting a little more hang of it as far as using more of my options, as far as different type of attacks, my side weapons. Like, you can use that holy water flask, and if you're using the light magic, it puts a shield around you.
It does.
So I was getting my ass pushed to me, or if I'm trying to take down the pillars or the boards off the window, I can just put down that shield and start doing it that way. I don't have to worry about getting distracted or interrupted. So I think there are, like Christian said, there's cool pieces in here, but it's all not leading up to something that would go, man, that was rad. It goes, man, there's some cool spots in there. There's some kind of cool, like the whole chest. Like I was excited about the chest, and like it was like, okay, well, this is just completely different. I'm not really a fan of this. Luckily, I beat her, but yeah.
I forgot about the holy water bubble too. Like, I would just accidentally do it, be like, oh yeah, that's the thing, because there's just so much that they try and get you to use and remember.
Preston, do you have moments where you're going through the game and you think to yourself, at least I'm not playing Warrior Within?
I mean, every time he's like, man, this game sucks, I'm like, doesn't suck enough for me to quit. I'm able to play this game. It does not take me 5 hours for a 2 hours time session. It's like, this is not coming at you either. I'm just coming out Warrior Within, so don't take it personally.
I haven't quit. I haven't quit.
Because it's still fairly playable. It doesn't like... It hasn't stopped me. Nothing has been broken to where like it's kept me from doing anything. There are plenty of times where it's like, okay, I just didn't figure out what to do. I look up the loop, I go, oh, okay, all right. I could do the thing like a bad camera. I didn't see this one thing, or hey, I don't know how to figure out this puzzle. And it's easy to look up. Like with Prince of Persia, I couldn't just look shit up. I get my shit pushed in and then have to fucking miss a checkpoint and have to play 2 hours over again. I'm sure, yes. The bar is set very low with Warrior Within. Okay, so it's. I am enjoying this to a point, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't see all the faults that you guys see.
No, I don't think. I was just trying to be funny. Yeah,
that's just like my ending kind of statement to that is where like I am enjoying it still, but it's not like I don't see the fucking the faults that you guys.
Because the warts and I imagine that Warrior Within now is like your new bar for tolerance, and so like anytime you play a game from here on out, you'll go like if it pisses you off, you'll just sigh, breathe in deep, and then be like, I could be playing Warrior Within right now, and I'm not, so I'll be thankful for that.
I am not enjoying it, but I am continuing to play because I'm ever hopeful that like maybe there is something here.
Maybe it gets
like
cool.
Maybe the story will pick up, or maybe it will get cool. I told Christian, I was like, they got a sequel, but to your point, like, everybody got a sequel back then, so who knows? So, like, I don't know. I'm not going to quit. I'm still playing because I'm hopeful of something.
Well, this game is a love game. I remember
when
people playing it back in the day, whoever was doing that, like, they enjoyed it. Hell, we had somebody reach out to me and Christian in Teams on a little group chat being like, yo, I see you guys playing Lords of Shadow. Isn't that game great? And we're like, buddy, when did you play this? He's like, I played it when it came out. I'm like, exactly. Like, the camera angles, like the shit puzzles.
And I bet to people who had been starving for Castlevania.
Oh, sure. That looks right to them, yeah.
And then, because it had been dead for a long time, and then it comes back and it's like a God of War like. I'm sure you were just happy to have a seat at the table
got a
again.
DS game. It got a sequel. Like,
yeah.
This game wasn't a flop. It just, maybe just of this time. Who knows? But even like Christian said, there's Devil May Cry games that are just fucking phenomenal, and you just put fucking Castlevania skin on that shit, and it'll be great. But yeah,
that's a whole. Don't even get me started.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next week.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
We'll be playing chapters 7, 8, and 9, finishing all those 3 chapters. So they're about ranging anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes each. So I figured we get through that. It'd be about 2.5 to 3 hours. So that way you can get through it. I don't want to make them too short because I don't want to draw this on too long before, Alex has a fucking seizure. So I want to try to get through this as quickly as possible.
It'll be an aneurysm. It'll be a brain aneurysm for sure. Like, my blood pressure will be so high.
I don't want you to die on vacation. I want you to be able to get back and,
Okay, cool. All right, well, catch us next week as we dive into part 4 of the never-ending story, Lords of Shadow, Castlevania. So we will catch you then. Don't forget, Preston has his Bounty Hunter that he's playing on Sundays.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have a regular episode dropping earlier in the week. And with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Hit it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.